Melody Clock asks, I got an oxygen machine from you July last year. Mine looks very different than the ones that you're getting now. Actually, you're right. It is a different version. It's from the same manufacturer. It works exactly the same way. I don't know why they changed the outward shape of the box, but in terms of the controls and the way that it works, the oxygen concentration, it's identical. So although it looks different, it's really not different. I'm sure they made some design changes for making it easier to produce or something. Someone's asking about, Liza Eckler says, what about front legs? Talking about taping up puppies. I have never ever been in a situation where I've taped up the front legs. If you tape up the back legs, that gets them up on their feet. And although their front legs may be doing like this, they'll get their front legs underneath them immediately. So the answer is, I think that if you tape the front legs up, they're going to be very difficult for them to, because they've got both front and back legs taped up, they'll have a very hard time getting themselves stabilized. With the front legs, they can move them out a little bit and then they don't do so much rocking. So the answer is, I don't think you'll ever need to tape up the front legs. Oh, Cool Boys Love says, you're the best, brother. Well, thank you. We want to be. Mary Eve de Gagnes. Let's have a look here. What's she saying? We use the IDEX machine in Canada. We're working in nanomoles. So you want to know how you convert that to what we use in the USA, which is nanograms per milliliter. You divide by 3.18. So if you were at a 15 in America in nanograms per milliliter, that would be about a 47 in Canada in a nanomoles per milliliter. So 3.18 is what you divide by. She asked another question here. I also bought your Canine Connect subscription. I was wondering if we will get an online link or a package by mail. I don't know the answer. That's a Cody question. Call the My Breeder Supply up and talk to them, because that's now their company. Although I'm associated with it, it's no longer my company. Happy Girl, I love your channel. How much do your female puppies weigh on average at 5 months? I've got a Frenchie female at 5 months and she weighs 8 pounds. Vet said totally healthy but tiny. Should I be concerned? She's acting and eating perfectly. No, you shouldn't be concerned. Look, here's the deal. The weight on dogs is going to vary quite a bit. I mean, look, you could have a dog fully grown at a year and a quarter, year and a half old, weighs 35 pounds. And you could have one at that age that weighs 15 pounds. That's a 20-pound range. That's more than twice the weight. So I don't get worried about a dog's weight unless it's skinny. It's not a happy dog. It's got other problems. It's got diarrhea, it's vomiting. You know, all those things, of course, are real concern. And of course, the first thing you do in any of those situations is that you take the dog's temperature. 1 or 2 or higher, straight to the vet, find out what's going on. If you haven't wormed, worm on a routine basis. If you're feeding a quality food and the dog's happy, you're fine. So a dog that weighs 8 pounds at 5 months, no, not a problem at all. So what would you expect a dog to weigh at 5 months? I don't know, it's all over the place. I mean, anywhere from 6 to 15 pounds, I would think would be the kind of range on that, something like that. So no, it's fine. I have a 1-4 progesterone machine, Armando Rodriguez says. I tried to test, it says warning, reset reagent and test again. What does that mean? What that means is, and I did this the first time I used the machine when I first got one, you've got the test stripped in backwards. If you, let me see if I can find a pen here. If you look at the test strip, there's a little kind of dimpled area on one end. That's where your thumb goes, and that does not go in the machine. The other end goes in the machine first. If you put it in wrong, it realizes there's a problem, but it's not smart enough to tell you to turn it around. That will fix your problem. Blazing colors. Taping ear. This is the thing I said. Somebody commented that taping up dogs' ears was cruel. And Blazing Colors says, not cruel at all. I agree 100%. The pup don't even notice it, which is correct. Maybe the people who comment on this are thinking of Dobermans where they cut or crop. Yes, so that's right. Maybe that's what's going on. We're not talking about cropping ears. We're talking about an ear that flops down, where you pinch the two sides together, put a piece of tape around it, it makes the ear stand up. The cartilage then hardens up, typically within a few days, and the ear stays up. If you don't do this, and then you typically see this in fatter, bigger puppies when they're 4 weeks old and older, where the ears aren't staying up, they're flopping down. If you don't do this, you may find the ear stays down permanently. You never get those nice, what Frenchies are known for, which are those nice bad ears. So you do want to do this. No harm to this at all, The puppy will not complain about it. The other puppies may try to take that tape off their ears, quite normal, but not a problem. NCR says, for your information, partial spay leaves the ovaries to produce hormones that maintain health, like bones and other endocrine functions. Okay, so I think there's arguments for this about how much of a spay you do, and I'm not up on this well enough to give you an answer, but I think it's going to vary by the situation that you're in. So do a bit more research. If you're going to do a spay, when should you spay a dog? Not during a C-section. Don't spay a dog while you're having a C-section. It's too much burden on the dog. You're likely to find the dog's not happy, doesn't want to nurse puppies, may fail milk. So it may even die. So don't spay dogs during C-section. Do it later on and do your research and decide, if you're done breeding a dog, you should spay your dog. It stops things like ovarian cancer. So the question here is whether or not you should remove everything or do a partial spay. And I honestly don't know the answer on that. Mad About Dog says, my French Bulldog has to have the anal glands excreted every 8 weeks. Okay, well, I've never done it on Frenchie, but apparently that one needs it. Emily Brault. She says that it adores us. Good. My female is now 18 months going through her second heat. Around day 50, and it slowed down. We thought it was over, but she came back very heavy the next day. Is that normal for a second heat stage? Blood flow, then stops and comes back. Yes, absolutely. I mean, so here's the thing. Is that if you try to gauge where your dog is heat-wise by the amount and color of the blood that she's producing, it will work most of the time, but not all the time. So what you normally see in a dog is first signs of drops of blood, we count that as day 1. Swelling up, that's not day 1. Drops of blood on the ground, in the bedding, if you've got panties on, her inner panties, that is day 1, first drops of blood. Most dogs will start lightening up around day 9, which is ovulation. It'll go to more of a pink color, going through a vanilla or yellowy color, almost clear, through day 11 through 13, which is when most dogs are bred. But young dogs can have a heat cycle that does this. It gets going, there's blood, then it tapers off, and then maybe you don't see any blood, then it waits a few days and it starts back up again. Quite normal, nothing to be concerned about. Those dogs are hard to get bred. That's typically why, first off, we should wait till they're at least a year old. But even at a year old, it sometimes takes the second heat or even longer before this heat cycle smooth and you see this nice gradual rise. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.